Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Mbalenhle Chrissy, and I'm here with another video. I'm featuring my hair that I'm growing. Yeah, hope to share it with you guys one day on how I grow my afro. So today I'll be talking about one of the most sensitive topic, and I've never shared this with anyone, but I just want to talk about it. Hopefully it's gonna help someone who is feeling like they're currently failing in their lives. It can be academically, it can be any sort of failing that you can think about. I'll be sharing about my academic failure that drowned me, that depressed me so much that I was actually asking myself, Ugoti, why me? Because based on how I know myself, I will say, Ugoti, I wasn't that person who would fail that way, who will literally fail that way. 2018, I was doing my degree, sort of. I was doing my bachelor degree, which is a BTech, because I was studying in a University of Technology. Yeah, so it all began when I was okay. So before that, I was doing my diploma for 3 years, and then on my third day, I had this goal. Yogoti, I want to pursue my career or my degree in something else. Okay, so I applied, there was in my third year for that particular course that I wanted to do, or that I wanted to pursue my career on, or my passion on. Okay, so I applied. I remember when I went to when okay, because I was so passionate about that course that I wanted to do. I won't mention like the course name because the reason why I won't mention is because I'll be, yeah, I'm still gonna pursue it anyway. I was so interested okay, so on my third year I was so interested in pursuing on this industry or career or whatsoever. So in a way that, okay, I applied, and I remember I went to see the supervisor or whatsoever, who is an instructor of that course in the department of that in the department where the course is being done. Okay, so I just spoke to her, and she told me that, okay, you can be selected, but she didn't promise me anything. Okay, so I got my feedback for my application back, and they told me ukuthi now, unfortunately you're not being selected. The reason being is because the modules that you are doing were not complying to their requirements. So I accepted it, and I was fine. I was like, okay, no, it's fine. I'm gonna find something else. I'm gonna start a new course on that industry or on that field. Okay, I just promised myself that. Okay, came the fourth year, and now I want to study, but at the same time, because I was working on a time, at the same time, I'm like, I was so skeptical about starting a new course, and then everyone is pursuing a degree kule course that I was doing, and I'm like, oh, okay, what am I gonna do? Do I want to do it or not? But the actual answer was that I was no longer interested in that course that I was doing. I was fine with that 3-year diploma, and I was okay. I just wanted something new, something different, and I was like, okay, sharp. So came January, everyone is registering, everyone is pursuing their own passions, whatsoever. And here is me, I'm stuck. I've accepted that I was not selected on the course that I applied for. The reason being is because I wasn't meeting the criteria of the course at the time. Like, I wasn't meeting the criteria of doing a degree or of being credited to the degree. So January, everyone is applying, and everyone wants to do something. And also I wanted to do something, but I was no longer in, as I said, I was no longer interested in pursuing the career or in pursuing my degree on the same course that I was doing, and I wanted something new because I felt like, okay, this is where I see myself like in future. Yeah, and I was like, okay, fine. So as because of I didn't want to do nothing on my fourth year, because I was working on that time and I didn't have a lot to do. Okay, I just went and registered for my BTech to the same course that I was doing as my diploma. And okay, sharp. Okay, so the first thing is that the first thing is that I was so interested in my diploma. Like I won't say I'm that book smart, but I'll say I'm not that person who who can just fail, like, okay, or that person who would fail a module or would fail that subject. I wasn't that person until my fourth year. Okay, yeah, so I registered, and everything was fine. I was excited that, okay, I'm gonna study, right? And when that course was gonna take like the 1 year, and we had to do like, I think, 5 modules, right? Okay, so okay, I did attend. I was working at the time, juggling work and study at the same time, and that was cool. But even at first, I was not interested. You know, when you're doing something that you don't like, when you're doing something for the sake of getting a paper at the end of the day, and it's gotten to me at first, like first month, second month, it was fine because it was just a starter. I was trying to figure it out. I was trying to understand the course, to understand the modules that I'll be doing. But back in my mind, I was like, okay, this is actually not what I want to do. This is not what I wanted to do for myself. I'm just doing it for the sake of getting a paper at the end of the day, and yeah, just have a degree. Do you understand? So yeah, in all my modules, I wasn't so interested as I was before with my diploma, and I couldn't understand what I was studying or what I was doing. I'll try to study, try to understand the modules, but at the same time, I'll be like, okay, you are just doing this for the sake of the paper, right? And yeah, I just did it, and I remember, Uguti, I was fine. I was passing the modules, but not as I used to pass. Because now, remember, now I'm doing something that I don't like. Now I'm doing something that I don't understand. My friends are just flowing with the course, and they're enjoying it, and you can see, okay, other people are enjoying it. Other students, I mean, they are enjoying what they are doing, but me, I'm like, this is actually not for me. And yeah, but I'm there, you understand. It was in my heart, it was in my passion in a way. So okay, yeah, I remember, Owiti, I had this one module. It was called in labor and immaterial law. Yeah, it has to do with a law. It was one of the modules in my BTech, and I used to struggle with it. I remember that we had like 3 tests. We had 3 tests to write, and then once you've read those 3 tests in a year, you were gonna pass like that module. But if you did not pass 3 modules, 3 tests, then you had to write a 4th test, and then the 4th test is gonna determine whether you are going through or not. Okay, so I remember on my the first test, it was announced to okay, it's over on which date, fine. And I studied so hard, but I studied so hard thinking that whatever that I'm studying is correct, right? But deep down in my heart, I was like, this is actually not this is actually not what I want. But at the same time, because I'm that person who prefer to finish what I've started. Yeah, unless if I just pause it. Okay. I remember thinking of deregistering, but at the same time, I was like, okay, now it's late. And what am I going to do if I deregister? Because I won't have anything to do on the time, and I'll just focus on work and no progress after then. I was like, okay, fine. Let me just do it. Just continue to doing it, no matter what I feel. I just take my feelings. I'll just hide my feelings or just forget about what I think or how I feel at the time. So I remember on the first test that I failed the first test. Remember, as I said to you, I'd never fail. Like, fail where you say, like, okay, you just failed. I'd never like being on that group. Okay, so came the first test. I failed I failed the first test. I was like, okay, but I understood Dogoti. Okay, fine. This is actually not yours. This is not what you are supposed to do. But anyway, we girl, we not gonna just give up. Yeah, yeah. There was not an option. Okay, so I did wrote my first test, and I failed my first test. I wrote my second test. I failed my second test, and it was so painful. It was so painful, but at the same time, I was like, okay, no, girl, just hang in there and just believe Uguti. Whatever you've started, God is gonna be with you, and you're gonna finish it. And I remember telling my mom, Uguti, no, this is actually not for me. I'm just pushing myself and I'm just doing it in J, but it's not something that I think I want, or I'm even thinking of giving up. And she was like, no, you're not that person, and you cannot give up. Like, you can't give up. So my mom always think, yeah, my mom always have that you cannot give up. You have potential. You can just get strength to face whatever that you are dealing with. And I was like, okay, sharp. I just took those words and I persisted. So as I told you, Guti, I failed my second test, and it was bad. I was not okay. I was stressed about it. At the same time, I was like, you knew that this is not yours, but you persisted, you continued to do it. And I was like, okay, fine, then you have to finish it because you have started and the time is running. Came at that test, I remember, came at that test. um, I remember I failed two tests, meaning I'm basically out if I don't do well on those two tests that I also have, that I had to write before the year end. I was gonna like fail the module. Definitely, if you fail the module, you fail the entire qualification, or you fail the for the entire year, right? Yeah, and I wrote my third test. My third test, it wasn't that bad because I was pushing so hard to go to, girl, you have to do this whether you like it or not, and you cannot give up. As I said, I wrote my third test. It wasn't hard at all. It wasn't, I would say, if it's something that you liked, or it wasn't hard, because I believe on that time a lot of students, they got like good marks, but I also passed the test. I remember I got more than 50, but it was bad. I wasn't impressed because that was the easiest paper like that we ever wrote. First one, it was easy because a lot of people passed. Second one, a lot of people passed, but I didn't. And the third one, a lot of like majority of people did very well, but I did pass on the paper, and I did pass the paper, but not so good, right? And I was like, okay. And I remember the lecturer said, okay, so if you did not, because there was the last paper, there was determining whether you are done with that module for that year or not. So the marks, he brought the marks back to us, and a lot of students, like majority of students, were like they already passed the module. And he was like, if you are oh, he told us to calculate our marks. So you're calculating your first mark, second mark, and your third mark, and then it's gonna give you the overall. And then if it's above 50, then you passed. And then yeah, ne? So for me, I failed the first paper, I failed the second paper, and I didn't do well on my third paper. That means I will have to write the fourth paper, right? Whether I like it or not. And I remember when we were checking the results, and he was like, no, you didn't reach the average pass mark, so you'll have to write your fourth paper. So when I wrote my and he was like, okay, he gave us the dates. And yeah, because I didn't even care on who was in that group, who's gonna write the fourth paper or not. I was so not, like, I was not there, like my mentally was not there, just physically I was just wanting to do it, right? And I was like, okay, sharp. I remember checking the marks, and he told me that no, you have to write the fourth paper. And we had to attend the class with that group, because okay, so if you have already passed, you are not gonna attend it anymore, because the final mark was just gonna be captured on your portal, and then you are done with that module. So I was like, okay, sharp. And he said the times and also the dates on how you're gonna be attending the class for the fourth paper. And I did attend the fourth paper, and in my mind I told myself, okay, on the time, Mbali, you're gonna pass, Mbali, you're gonna do it, and whatever that comes, you're gonna pass that paper whether you like it or not. And it's almost the year end, and if you are failing this paper, this module, that means you are failing like everything, because you have to start again the whole year again. Okay, and I wasn't up for it. I had already I had another plans, so I did attend it. I attended the classes for the fourth paper that we had to write, that we were going to write, that we're going to write. So I attended the class, and then he told us the scope and everything. He taught us, because it was, I guess, the last chapter of the book that we were reading. Yeah. And yeah, so I did studied. I studied very, very, very hard. And when I was studying for my fourth paper, I had so much hope and so much faith that I was gonna make it, and I was gonna do it, even if I'm tired, or even if I'm stressed about it, right? But I was hoping to pass the paper, and I was hoping to just pass that module for that year, because repeating the module wasn't in my mind at all. I was just done. I wanted to finish, and I wanted to move on with something else. So yeah, I studied the paper. Okay, I studied for my fourth test, and then I went to write my fourth test. Okay, so when I wrote my first test, remember, okay, so as I said, Uguti, when I was studying for my fourth paper, I was so much positive. I was better than I was before, and I had that in mind, Uguti, you're gonna pass, you're gonna make it, and you're gonna do it. Yeah, and that is the only option that you have, girl. So I was like, okay, so we went to write the fourth paper, and we were like a few, because I was not even interested on who I was gonna be writing with. I think we were like 10 or less than 10 who were writing. And yeah, I wrote the paper, and guess what? When okay, sorry, or before I wrote the paper, I had to reach at least 60, it was 65% in order for me to to reach the pass mark. Okay, so I had to get more than 65% in that fourth paper that we were writing in order for me to pass that module. Yeah, so we went to write, and it was good. And I remember Uguti, it felt like I was the only one who studied on the for the paper, because after we wrote, for me, when we were writing the fourth paper, I was so much positive with myself. I was so much believing Uguti, I'm gonna make it, whether whatever situation that it is or whatever it is, I'm just gonna make it. And when I read the paper, I knew Uguti, okay, this is actually, there was most of the things that I studied, and it was just a simple paper, and I felt so much relaxed writing that paper. And when I left the hall we were writing on, I knew for sure that I made it. I knew that I got more than 60%, and not basically that I knew, but I was so much believing ukuthi I got more than 60%. And I remember when we were sharing after we were done writing the paper, I remember we were sharing, and a lot of students that were our schoolmates, varsity mates, I mean, that I was writing the paper with, they were complaining about how hard the paper was. And I remember the other guy just left he just said Uguti, he couldn't, some were copying. So the lecturer saw that, and then he was like, no, you're not gonna continue, I'm just gonna mark you like as fail, I'm just gonna put fail on your marks, right? Because they were copying, it was a lot that was happening, and some couldn't write it because they were not prepared, or they were not, yeah, they were not prepared, so they couldn't write the paper. And a lot of, as I said, a lot of students were complaining about how hard the paper was. But on my side, I was like, God, thank you, and thank you that I managed to write. I managed to write this paper. All the answers, all the questions that were on the paper, I just wrote, I just answered them, and I knew for sure that a lot of the questions that were on the paper, I answered them correctly, and I believed Uguti, I'm just gonna pass. It was, for me, there was that relief after writing the paper. Uguti, as in, you just made it. You just made it. So yeah, so after a few days, the marks were updated on the system, on my portal, so I was able to check, and I was so grateful that I got way more than 65% that I wanted to get, or that I was expecting to get. I think I got 80 something. There was a distinction on the paper, so that gave me a good mark for the overall. And yeah, I was very happy, and I was so much relieved. And so the reason why I'm sharing this is because I just want anyone who's watching this video to understand Uguti, whatever situation or whatever or whatever, wherever that you are with your life, you can be feeling like, okay, you are failing, but anyway, you are not failing. As long as you're not gonna give up, as long as you're gonna persist, no matter how hard it can be, because it was so draining, it was so stressful, that every time when I have to go to the class, I would literally break, because it's something that I didn't want it, based on my understanding or based on what I was telling myself. But at the end of the day, I knew that me getting a degree will lead me to somewhere. It was always been my dream to get a degree. You can always do something else. You can always get another. You can always pursue your passion. But my point here is that if you are feeling like you are failing, you can be a student, or you can maybe pursuing your business or trying to find a job or trying to do something for yourself that you want so bad, and you are not at that space or at that stage of pursuing whatever that you want, and you are doing something that you don't like. I just want to tell you, Oguti, you just do it. Do it even if you have to cry. Do it even if you have to break. Yeah, because that is where God wants to see us. That there is this song for Tasha Cobbs, Elity, gracefully broken. That is what I saw, or I saw on that time. Oguti, yes, it can be painful and you can feel like you are actually not going anywhere, but God has a plan. God has a plan for your life. You do something that you think you don't like, but at the end of the day, it's something that God wants you to do at that time, and you must be fine. You must be okay, and keep on pushing, keep on persisting, keep on believing that God is there for you, no matter how hard that situation can be. I remember graduating for that degree, that I just broke. I broke like, because I was thinking about the hardships that I faced in that year, trying to pursue, trying to do it, and I couldn't. Okay, fine, but unga give up. It helped me to end up being in that auditorium, being in that sports center, being and my name being called, having that certificate, having that degree that I always dreamed about. So yeah, it's not easy, but believing in yourself and also believing, Uguti, wherever you are, and you may feel like you're failing, just know that God is putting it there for a reason. God is putting you there for a purpose. So you are failing your way to success. Failing doesn't mean it's the end of the road. Failing doesn't mean that you're not going to achieve whatever that you want to achieve. I had to share this because it's something that has been in me for so long, and I've never shared with anyone, only my mom. I'm so grateful that I'm here today, and I'm so grateful that I can be able to share this with this video, and hopefully it's gonna help someone who's maybe going through something, or maybe feeling like they're failing in their lives. Guys, thank you so much for watching my videos. Thank you for commenting, for liking. Thank you for even watching this video. Thank you for taking your time watching this video, and just know that wherever you are, just fail your way to success. You're gonna succeed. You're gonna make it. You're gonna make it where you are, where you want to be. And I'm so glad that I am about to follow the passion that I wanted to do on that time. So again, never let your goals slip. So whatever that you wanted to persist, it can be whatever that you wanted to do. It can be like many years ago, it can be a year ago or whatsoever, and you couldn't do it on the time because of the certain reasons or certain circumstances, and you ended up doing something else. That is okay, but never let the dream sleep. And I'm so happy that I will be now I'll be pursuing my passion at the time. So the timing of God is great, and God is amazing, guys. Thank you so much.